We're almost done with the 2020 NFL season, but in 2021, do you know who your starting quarterback is going to be? I went through every team, obviously, by division, and we'll run through it and try to figure out how many maybes we have that could be making a quarterback change, and then how many yeses, and then look back historically at this kind of turnover, because it's probably a little bit more turnover than you expected. Okay, if we go by division, we'll run through every team. Let's just do it real quick. All right, see, in the AFC East, New England has to bring in somebody different. The Jets seem to be linked to all sorts of things, including the BYU quarterback, maybe more so than Fields, but hell, it's January, so we'll worry about it then. If you go AFC North, every team in that division looks like they're good, but Roethlisberger, this will be just a small prediction, 5 or 6 possible retirements, doesn't retire, does about 6 or 7 one-on-one interviews where he talked about possibly retiring plays in 2021. So we're not even going to put them down as a maybe. The AFC South has some turnover coming, possibly a lot. The Colts, they lose Phillip Rivers this week. Trevor Lawrence in with Jacksonville, and the only people that want Deshaun Watson to stay in Houston are clearly Texans fans. And out west, everybody looks good. You never know. There's always going to be something predictable or unpredictable that could happen. But Drew Lock, I don't know if they bring him back. All right, NFC now. Washington figures they got to bring in somebody different who could be a potential week 1 starter. Philadelphia likely has their quarterback on the roster, so even if it's Hurts instead of Wentz and they make a move there, that guy is there, so we're not going to put them down as a maybe. Chicago's always a maybe, has been for about 3 years, it feels like. And then, of course, Matthew Stafford could be on the move. In the NFC South, New Orleans with Breeze potentially retiring. You got Carolina, who, look, Teddy Bridgewater, a bit of a regression. They lost a bunch of games, but contractually they can't get out of that until after next season, so I'm not putting them down. Atlanta, who knows with the Matt Ryan rumors. And then San Francisco always seems to be kind of kicking the tires on rumors with bringing in someone new. So it's about 14 or 15 maybes. It's not going to be that many. There's definitely one I don't know anything about. You don't know anything about. There's just guesses that we can make. So let's just go ahead and say it's 8 yeses. New England, the Jets, Jacksonville, Denver, Washington, Chicago, New Orleans, San Francisco. So let's say 8. If we're saying 25%, so 8 new jobs from 2020 week 1 to week 1 in 2021, that turnover seems a little bit high. But you know what? The turnover has actually been crazy at the quarterback position in just the last couple of years. Now, I have a couple different theories that we'll get to here in a little bit, but if you just go back to 2018, I went through every quarterback that started 8 or more games, right? Because you figure that guy's kind of the starter. We have 15 different starters for franchises in 2018 than we had at the start of 2020. If we go a year back earlier, again, 2017, and it almost feels like 2007, there's so much turnover here. Here's the list of quarterbacks that were the primary starters for their teams in 2017 that either were starting for a different team or not starting for anyone. Brady, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Kirk Cousins, Blake Bortles, Alex Smith, Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, Case Keenum, Deshaun Kaiser, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, but, we'll put that one on hold. Jay Cutler in Miami, Tyrod Taylor. Shout out to Josh McCown, Trevor Siemian. I mean, we could even go 20 if we want to include Mitch there. Tom Savage actually started more games than Deshaun Watson in 2017. So that's about 20 quarterbacks if we're being strict about it. Again, in only 2017. Okay, why is this happening? Well, some of it's coaching turnover. Think about this number. 18 of the 32 NFL head coaches that have been hired since 2019. You always realize you have that quarterback. You're like, man, he just is in the wrong system. And you see it like 4 or 5 coordinators later, and you're like, you know what? Maybe it's not the system. Maybe the quarterback just isn't any good. And so when you keep firing the coaches, they're going to go, hey, look, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to tell you I can fix this quarterback. And if I can't fix him, then we should just get another quarterback, because I think teams are drafting quarterbacks more often going, look, if we don't have an answer, you just got to keep drafting the position. Teams will tell you this. So that could be part of it. We talked about the first rounders. There's so many college quarterbacks putting up these incredible seasons where all of a sudden halfway through, a guy that was a 4th or 5th round grade, we're like, this guy might be a top 10 pick. That feels newer. And it's happening, but it also probably leads to even more mistakes than we've ever had before. But you're more willing to take one of these guys to replace one of these incumbents because you're thinking, I must do better with this guy because he was SEC Player of the Year. And finally, my favorite answer to a lot of this stuff. I don't know. I don't know why there's so much turnover, but if we're talking about 20 different quarterbacks as starters in 2017, again, that was only 3+ years ago to what we're going to have. Don't be surprised when it may be 25% or more of the league has new starters week 1 in 2021.